Barnacle time.
Good morning, Australia.
Good morning. Good to be back.
It is good to be back, isn't it, Tony? And welcome back, everyone who's listening, because now you're viewing. That's right.
We've kind of moved beyond the realm of, ears and listening, and we're now all on vision.
Yeah, if you said last time, if you've watched last time, season 1, we banned ears, right? Banned them,
Straight
gone,
out.
no
gone.
more listening.
No more acoustics, no more.
And season 2, it's full visual. We're doing a silent film. It's going to be great. Every episode.
Yeah, it's going to be something else. It's going to be just a whole new thing. But, before we get into all that and all this new who's that, I think there's an age-old question to be asked, Paulie.
Go on.
What is for breakfast?
Well, me and you know it. And now the people watching at home know. It's barnacles.
Delicious. We've got a nice spoon. We've got fresh barnacles straight from the Caribbean coast, exported over to Australia, and we're just rolling with it.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. I can't wait to get back into it with Australia because, Tony, Australia's been without news for some time now. I think it's been a little over a year.
Nearly a year of no news. And you'd think everything's gone a bit haywire, sure.
Exactly. And it's just time to jump into it. So I'm going to hit you with some divisive issues, Tony.
Straight off the bat.
I'm a resident expert of most things. You should be fine. Now, obviously the listeners will know about this, the viewers.
Everyone, the viewers, good point, Paulie.
And you've got some things to say. The Outback, it's got a bit of an attitude issue.
Crikey, Paulie, I don't know about you, but things seem a little different, It's not quite the same Outback. It's more like a Outback now.
Yeah, definitely. Like, back in the day, when you and I were just scrobblers living it up, like, we'd go to the Outback, we'd have a great time.
Yeah, we'd have magical time.
Now, everyone this summer sort of got together and they were like, right, we've had loads of summers outdoors. We're going to have a little bit of time indoors.
It's more of an indoor summer this time, which is bizarre. I will not lie, but, it's working.
Yeah, and who's been worst affected? It's the Outback.
Crikey, it's been terrible. Like I said, when we were scroggers, we'd go down, we'd do this. We used to play our little hippie hops on the rocks.
Exactly.
And bango tails out by the bushes, every kind of little thing. But now, what do we do? No one's doing any of that.
Well, exactly, and the Outback's really taken it personal. That being said, does it excuse the behaviour? You're not so sure.
I would say no. It gives a reason. It's not an excuse. Flat out, I'm going to stand by that.
And as most of our fans will know, you are a resident expert of most things, right? You actually have a degree in Outback law.
I do. I am an Outback professional. First of all, I'm always a professional, we know that.
Exactly.
But I'm a
born and bred Australian.
Born and bred.
As part of that qualification, you do get just a level of expertise in the Outback.
Yeah, so I was studying it for a few years, months maybe. I can't quite remember. It all blows into one when you do as many law degrees as me.
Exactly.
But it's kind of a difficult situation. So for the viewers at home who haven't been to the Outback, which is surprising if you are from Australia, it's kind of a bit like a different space to a city or even a park, It's this sprawling landscape of rocks, dingoes, desert bats, and all sorts of things.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot more, like, you could put several parks together and you still wouldn't be quite capturing the same magic as the Outback.
No, you would not. So,
like, a park might have a tree, right?
Park might have a swing, but
the Outback doesn't have those.
No.
But it might have a coyote.
Might have a coyote. It might have a basil. It just could have anything. But, something's off. The usual kind of balance, as it were, is swinging. The temperature has risen tremendously.
Yeah, so that's a key stat there. The temperature, right, normally hovering around a comfy 42, 43. This year, the Outback shot up to 47.
47. What are you supposed to do?
Exactly. You basically melt in the heat, and it's some of the people who have gone out to visit, pay homage to the Outback. They're saying it's too spicy.
Far too spicy. And I think part of the problem is, how we're talking about having a more of an indoor summer.
Exactly.
It's kind of leaking into our indoor summer. Like, the Outback's trying to knock down the door and come barging in. You're just saying, Outback, listen, I do like you, but I'm trying to enjoy indoors.
Yeah.
Stay outdoors, stay Outback.
Sort of like it wasn't invited to the party, and now it's ruining it for everyone else.
Exactly. It's just throwing a bit of a temper tantrum, as it were.
And then you've got the people who can escape. Obviously, we've had our issues before with our natural defenders, crocodiles, shrivelling up.
Yep.
They're really suffering this year, and it's got to the point where the kangas are having a tough time, right? Because they just don't have any houses to retreat to this year.
That's the thing. Like we're saying, we're indoors, Outback's trying to barge in. My advice is, maybe wire up the doors, put some wooded plates, nail them in.
Exactly.
Kangas don't even have a house to barge up, they've got nothing.
Yeah, they also don't have hammers.
No, or thumbs to hold these hammers if we did supply them with them.
So they're really underprepared, and as one of Australia's native favourite creatures,
I'd say top 10 at least.
We just hate to see it. So I've got one of our emails here, Tony.
Yes, let's hear it out.
This one's from Bamboo Snap.
Bamboo Snap, lovely
Bamboo Snap said, right, normally I'll go to the Outback once a week, check how it's doing, have a nice chat, hang out with my wife.
Of course.
And then this year, I decided to follow the trend, take an indoor summer, take some me time, right? All of a sudden, I'm gone for 2 days, and the Outback's like, where'd you go? Where's my attention?
I know.
And it's just not the neediness that we were looking for. Play hard to get,
Yeah, well, that's a lovely email, Bamboo. Well, first of all, I want to address your name. It's beautiful. Is it Italian?
P.S. I'm Italian.
Yes, I'm Italian. Beautiful. I was just thinking, but it's like you said, it's just no attention's on it, and it's just taken out in all the worst possible ways. I'm sorry, Bamboo. I say you and your wife best avoid it, because at a time like this, I think we just can't give it the attention.
Yeah, we've given some tips. Obviously, board up your windows, and if there is a kanga family in need out there, take them in.
Take them in.
Do the Australian.
You've got a spare room, just let it crash for a bit, at least a few days,
Well, that is obviously a divisive issue, and we'll continue to monitor that situation.
Of course, we're not going to keep doing it.
We know Australia needs to be updated.
Of course, and feel free to email us in on this divisive issue.
Exactly. barnaclesforbreakfast@gmail.com.
barnaclesforbreakfast@gmail.com.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's been so long.
No, of course, we've been a year away.
Obviously, you can also just, ring us up on the old telephone.
It was on the old dial-a-roo.
Yeah, so that's fine too. However you want to get at us, carrier, pigeon, it's all brewski.
We're always here, 1860 Wallaby Way.
Exactly. Now, unfortunately, as we are known to do, we don't always play by the rules.
No, if you haven't really listened or viewed this show before, we're renegades.
Exactly. Classic style, yeah, we do it our way, but we do get results.
We get more than results, we get success.
Now, that being said, Tony, we did get into some trouble this week.
Sometimes it's not always success, sometimes it's trouble.
Yeah, that's where we got started, and we're really bringing it back to our roots this week, because unfortunately we got into trouble for scraping the barrel and using our outside voices.
Crikey, just hearing those words takes me back. Do you want to set the scene, or?
Well, set the scene as we've expected, right? Indoor summer. First of all, what kind of voice are you going to use? Indoor voice.
Indoor voice,
okay?
straight up.
I will admit, that's my bad.
That was your bad, but the second one, that is on me. I did do that.
Well, indoor summer, trying out woodwork, and then you go and scrape a barrel.
I just scraped a barrel, just completely. So you got to imagine our setup at our house. It's not quite like this. We got 17 barrels of mango chutney stored away for a nice little meal, and I'm there wood carving, and would you know it? I go to wood carve, slippity-do, straight, puncture a barrel, mango chutney on the carpet. You come in, see this, first reaction, outside voice.
Outdoor voice. And I, honestly, it was tough to get through that one, but I'm truly sorry.
No, it's understandable. We kind of got in trouble with each other.
Yeah, we almost got banned from the podcast, which would have been
That would have been disastrous.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been good.
Well, we managed to work through the legal work on that one, obviously.
Yes. We kind of made ends meet, but
yeah, we're sorry about that one.
Yeah, sorry Australia, and sorry Paulie,
and sorry to you too, Tony.
Well, thank you.
We've got 16 more barrels. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. And you got to express your outside voice sometimes.
Now, we're going to go to a quick ad break that supports this new medium, because obviously it's very expensive getting all of the light beams into your eyes. And we'll be right back.
See you in a second, Australia.
So, Tony, this week you'll be glad to know that we're sponsored by Dingo Boots.
Oh, this is a great initiative. This is a good one.
It really is, because I've always thought that the dingoes, they're out there, right, in the middle of the wilderness, middle of the outback, especially in these conditions. Their feet must get a bit rugged and toasty.
Well, I suppose so, but it doesn't really matter about your feet when they're being turned into boots, does it?
Oh, sorry, I think you misunderstood the sponsor this week, Tony. Dingo Boots are a lovely charity collective who put little fluffy boots on the feet of our national dingoes.
I get what you're saying, but I was 92% certain that this was a charity about these nice new dingo hide boots that were kind of hitting the market. They're lovely. You know how you say dingoes get a bit chilly. So these boots actually chill your feet in the Australian sunshine.
I don't know if I can support that initiative. Right.
I just think boots on dingoes is a bit of a waste of time. Why not turn the dingoes into the boots? That way, the best of both worlds.
Two for one. Alright, I'm starting to
The
come
dingoes
around
are
to
the
it.
boots,
I'm starting to come around to it. Okay. So, I did have a code, but we'll use Tony's code instead.
Well, we'll give you both codes. You decide which one you want to support.
Right. So, if you use Dingo Boots /Paulie Loves the Dingoes, you can get 17% off sponsoring a dingo to have a nice pair of boots for the summer to keep his feet off those scorching hot outback floor. And Tony?
And if you use the code dingo/Tony hates the dingoes, you can get one dingo boot. And then you pay just, half price, get the other one.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's a really good deal.
Thanks, Dingo
Thanks.
Boots.
Thanks, Dingo Boots.
Thank you, Dingo Boots. And we are back. Now, Tony, along with our new setup, 3D viewer style,
which new kind of visualisation we're going for?
We've got some new, and I'd say quite important, sections.
Yeah, so the sections are changing. Like, we've got 2 new sections, I'd say, along with, don't worry, we are keeping Tony's reviews in and Paulie's perusing. They're not going anywhere.
But that's for another day. This day, we've got quarantine quandaries and queries.
Now, for those of you who don't speak Australian, there is a difference between quandaries and queries. We had some viewer mail, or some feedback, as it were, from some higher-ups and bigwigs saying, same thing. No, pick up an Australian dictionary, you'll soon see the difference.
Exactly, and we're going to slip in straight away with our quandary. So you wake up, another day in quarantine. Cool. I must have done all the quarantine activities by this point.
I've done my shoe, my hoops, I've skipped my legs, and I've even baked 9 cakes.
And yet, there's one thing you haven't considered.
No, I have not.
Your legs are tired from the hoops.
Legs are tired?
Your fingies, they're tired from the cake baking.
Way too tired.
But you know what's not tired, Tony? Your schnozzle.
My snozzle is primed, as they say.
That's right.
What's it primed to do, Paul?
Well, we're going to suggest schnozzle painting.
Schnozzle painting? Sounds fun, that does. That's good.
So,
talk me through it.
You sort of take the same kind of energy you would with finger painting, childhood glee and all that.
Nice.
And then you get nice and close to the paint, inhale a bit of the fumes, that's when you know you're close enough.
Yeah.
And you sort of trip out as you paint with your schnozzle. You dip it in, you trip it up, and, viewers are producing all kinds of wacky stuff.
Wow, it's interesting. So what kind of things are we seeing?
Well, some people have seen mushrooms come to life.
Yep.
And sort of, they're the people now, in many ways.
These mushroom people.
Yeah, well, that's part of the truth, isn't it? You really can't predict it.
No, you can't. You can do anything with your snores, can you?
Mushrooms are a new phenomenon to Australia, so we don't really know what they're capable of.
They could do
so maybe
anything.
that wasn't part of the truth.
Maybe that wasn't. But I know if I was going to paint, my thing, I would... Little homage to all the alligators who are getting overshadowed by the crocodiles, I'd say.
That's very true, yeah. I mean, that's an important issue. You could also be inspired by the work of Shireen Kaloop,
Of course.
travelling artist.
Shireen Kaloop. star.
So loads of options there, and if you make some schnozzle artwork, be sure to email it to us, and we could feature it on our
That'd
show.
be
now that
amazing,
we've
wouldn't
got eyeball stuff.
Yeah, we can bring it up, show it over. Perfect. Now on to our query next up. It's a nice little call-in we've got.
Yeah, so we've got Marjorie Marmalade is called in. She's got a serious issue that I think a lot of Australians are worrying about. So our producer, Duggery Bones, he's going to play that clip for us now. Would you, Duggery?
Right. Hi, Tony and Paulie. I'm massive fans of you both. I've got a question which a lot of us Australians have been worried about over this quarantine period. Now, I'm just worried when our internet is going to run out. Could you please answer this for us?
Well, Marjorie.
That's a good question. I've been worried about that.
And you're right to be worried.
You're right to be worried. But luckily, one of us has a degree in internet law. And it's not actually me, would you believe it?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised when this one came up, because I actually do have a degree in internet law. And I think that's not one that's on your collection yet.
No, as far as I'm aware, I really don't think it is. Like, listen, I spent a few years in college. But
you've been around the law schools.
I've been zigzagging, hip-hopping and did multiple at the same time. It was a nightmare.
But for once, let me tell you how the law works behind this, right?
Explain how the internet works.
Well, obviously, you've got your internet in your house, right? You plug in your doodah and you flick on. From that point on, your internet is ticking through like sand in a sand timer.
It is, yep. That's how I understood it, at least.
And with this quarantine, we are all on the brink of running out.
Crikey, because everyone's using their sand timers, as it were.
At once.
So it's forming one big sand timer that's just going to run out.
Exactly. And so,
sand.
Really, what you need is you need to recharge it, right?
Yes.
We've spoken about juice before, recharging your juice. And what you can do is you can actually, like, during the night time when not so many people are using it, you can actually go through and scoop some internet, as it were, out of your least favourite neighbour's internet. Smart. And that way you can top up your reserves.
So it's a bit of an internet free-for-all almost. Who can steal the
It
most
really
internet?
is, yes. But, the internet's, despite, some of us want to ban it. That's a divisive issue.
Divisive issue in itself, but we'll not get into, the difficulties of it.
But if you need it, then you better be prepared to fight for it.
It's all right. So basically,
get your Gatling gloves on, Marjorie, because you're gonna be.
You're gonna have to get fighting. Exactly. So it's not. In answer to your question, get fighting. It's not going to run out anytime super soon, but I'd get stealing some other people.
It's nice to have a reserve.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've really just solved a lot of problems there. And next up, we've got a guest coming on.
A brand new star.
And we'll just cut to that when they arrive.
See you in a second, Australia.
Bye.
Right, welcome back, Australia.
Welcome back.
It's time for the new segment, isn't it?
Yeah, let's have it. Get in here, Duggery. Duggery, our producer, first guest of the series.
Welcome, Duggery Bones.
Hello, boys.
Give us somewhere to sit, Tony.
No, listen, alright. We haven't really set this up, so I'm going to be the bigger man. Come take my seat, Duggery. Get in there.
I appreciate that.
Mind if I snuggle in here?
You know I do.
Sure.
Thank
What
you,
a treat.
Tony.
Lovely to have you on the show.
Great to have you on the show. For those of you who don't know, this is Duggery Bones. He's our producer, newly involved with the show in this whole new formatting world.
Yeah, so Duggery has been teaching us all about adding this extra dimension of video, and he's really in charge of the whole shebang. So, Duggery, can you just tell us a bit about this new format? Because Tony and I rather, are used to as sort of an audio
More
stuff.
acoustic version of this.
Yeah, much less viewing in that aspect, I suppose.
Next to none, arguably.
Yeah, so some would say. But yeah, I think using a film camera, you can bring this kind of new aspect where you're stimulating more senses at once, I suppose.
Right, but some of the senses aren't as useful as others.
No, obviously you've had this discussion before about some of the senses. We won't get into that right now.
Would you say this new format is more approachable to babies? Because they are, they're not as good at listening. I've never had a good conversation, but they're quite good at watching you.
You make a good point there. I'd say.
Fun fact. Sorry, I'll just interrupt you there.
Yeah.
Fun fact: babies more percentage eye of their head than the rest of us.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, no, okay. So you make it, yeah, that's a...
That's a
Doesn't it?
funny fact, is it not?
What's on the topic, Doug?
Thank you.
Have you had any babies?
No, yeah, funny, I was a baby at one point.
Right.
Okay.
That's a kind of little...
What's your favourite baby memory, Doug?
Yeah, I'd say this is a good question. Let's see. Definitely visualising things.
Right, I don't... Sorry, can you pick a different one?
Okay, let's... Give me 2 seconds. I'd say sand.
That one's better. Yeah.
That's a lot better.
I relate to that one a lot.
Yeah, I think I had a baby memory involving sand.
Yeah,
You definitely, Paul. Do you remember the time you got the sand in your ear?
Oh no! That's part of the reason I don't do ears anymore.
No,
Really.
that's kind of the whole reason that we're straying to this visualisation.
Yeah, it sounds like nightmare fuel.
Now I've got a couple of questions for you, Dougry. As our producer, firstly, how are you enjoying being part of Australia's leading news show?
Well, it's kind of a dream opportunity, I'd say. Like, meeting you, obviously, in technology law school.
Now, you say it's a dream opportunity, Dougry. Have you ever had any dreams about this?
Oh, you've caught me
I
right
think we've
at-
caught
okay.
you out a little bit there, Dougry.
Oh, that's
I'll-
really going to cost you on the score.
I'll retract my statement, shall I?
Yes.
I'd say this is a opportunity. How's
Okay,
that?
Well,
nice
that's-
backtrack.
that makes more
Yeah,
sense.
that makes sense.
So then my sort of follow-up is, what do you think you add to the Barnacles for Breakfast experience?
Well, I think this show is you could see me as like a lubricant, if you will.
Sure.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Because barnacles,
It's
to put
always
it in a
quite
metaphor,
coarse.
they're quite rough. They're quite
I
coarse.
mean, trust Steve spooning that, Dougry. Give it a go.
Yeah, no.
Crikey.
There's
We
a good
need
bit of friction going there.
If
We
there's
need
one thing
something.
you need, it is lubricant.
lubricant would be ideal in
I'll
that.
tell you what, you've answered that well, Dougry. That's actually all the questions I've got for you. And so, you've got some questions for me, I gather.
Yeah, I'll far away.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
What
more.
do you want to know about the Barnacle Boys?
Well, obviously, moving into this kind of new technological advancements, I would love to know, where did you get your pineapple shirt from?
Yeah,
Good
well, the
question.
pineapple shirt has been one of Australia's. It's been at the front of Australian technological development for a long time, and this one is particularly nice, right?
Linen?
It's more of a cotton mix,
Oh, okay.
but that's only because
So nice.
cotton in Australia is made from crabican shell, which obviously I would like as many crabicans to die as possible because I'm an upstanding citizen. But maybe that's just me, Doug.
I mean, email in and if you have any other opinions, but I'd say it's unanimous on the Crabkins must die.
Well, before we open that jar of worms, Tony, I think it's about time that we wrapped up this interview. Thank you for coming on, Dougry, and we're just going to finish up by rating this conversation and rating you as a person.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
So
okay.
how this works is, I rate the conversation, Paulie rates you as a person.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Off
So-
to you, Tony, please.
Now, the conversation was mixed. There were some lies thrown in. We can admit that.
Okay. Yeah.
You said that whole thing about the dreams.
That was.
And you've never
fallacy.
had a dream.
You've never had a dream.
Yeah.
And if I actually look at the notes,
Sure.
it does say that you are an international scallop champion, and you did not bring that up once.
And that would have been interesting to know about.
So I'm regretfully only going to have to give it a 5 out of 12 barnacles on a spoon
For
for
conversation.
conversation. But
Yeah.
don't really might get different from Paulie.
In regards to you as a human, Dougry, so there's pros and there's cons, right? I look at you and I see you're never going to be like us.
No, not quite. But you're not uninvolved in the show. You're here.
Okay.
Well, you've added this third aspect to
This
it.
whole
and that
new
is-
world.
Some people like that, especially if it opens up our audience to babies, because that's like
That's huge.
4% of the world's population.
That's a big population.
It's a
And if you
niche.
open up to babies, the parents are getting dragged in as well.
It's true, yeah.
That being said, one of me and Tony's favourite pastimes is to talk about our dreams together.
Yes.
And you just can't join in on that.
Yeah,
Well,
It's
when
really,
we're-
it's really damning.
This is like when we're in the lunchroom, what are we going to talk
I
about,
suppose
though,
I'm a bit excluded in that aspect, aren't I?
You can
So-
make some up, though. Most of the dreams that feel a bit wishy-washy.
Well,
They
it
might be
seems
worth
lies
doing.
aren't particularly popular on the show, so I might avoid.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I was
no.
trying to catch you out there, to be fair, Dougry, and you just
Okay.
did go up in my books a little bit.
The scallops makes that's small talk.
Scallops is good. If you bring the scallops up.
Yeah, well, it's a bit late for that, isn't it? Conversation over and ratings begun.
I suppose.
I mean, we're not rating you on what you can be in the future. We're rating you on now. We're just giving you some hints and tips of the future.
Okay.
And with that in mind, I'm going to give you 6 barnacles out of 12 on a spoon, with room for improvement.
So much room.
And I would say an upper limit. You at your best is going to be 8 barnacles.
That's not bad, Barnacles.
So what I'm trying to say is don't walk away thinking that you'll ever be 12 out of 12 Kelsey B style.
But don't think you're not going to be Outback Scouts Season 2 style.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, that's... I appreciate that, boys.
Right, well, I'd love to hear more from you.
Well,
but it's almost time for us to
It's
wrap.
been a long time. If you don't mind
Pop.
scooching your
Shall I
poochie.
get back behind the camera
Get
now?
by-
Yeah, you could, Dave, you could.
Well, that's not a barnacle, is it? Do you mind if I...
Take it and go.
Take it and go.
Come
All right.
on.
Cheers, boys. Cheers, Paulie. Cheers, Tony.
Have a good one, Juggery.
Well, what a riveting first episode of season 2 that
I
was.
thought that was quite exciting. I was really getting in the flow of it.
I'm really enjoying it, and it was nice to have you down there. You know,
Yeah.
know where you are and what you're doing.
I think to keep it fresh, we'll switch it around. Who's in the chair? Who's
Sure,
having the
sure.
hairpants? You know, but I
For
quite liked
now-
it. It was quite nice.
Looking at the time,
Crikey, is that 38 hours?
it's been a long one, folks. And
That's the
to
beauty
be
of the
honest,
technology.
you are welcome. From us, we've been the Barnacle Boys.
We've been
Barnacles for
Buzzwords.
breakfast.
I've been Tony.
And that's a good day, Australia, from us.
Good day, Australia.